Good morning. It is officially day 2, Sunday, of me working on this I-beam. Let's swing around this way so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. That I-beam's pretty much welded up now.
I don't want to do it. You do it.
I gotta do some overlay plates on it. I'm gonna do a second pass on these parts where the side plates mount up to the tubing. And then I'm gonna do some overlay plates here. I'm gonna trim this up and insert the Heim bushing or Heim sleeve, whatever you wanna call it. But yeah, this is day 2. Alright, we got a special delivery today. Let's see what it is. Come on, dude. Drop it off. Let's go. Alright, so good news is beam number 1 is completely done. Sit right here. So pretty excited, pretty happy with the way it turned out. It could be better, obviously, if I was maybe a little better at welding or whatever, but I did start MIG welding on this thing, and essentially it was kind of my first time MIG welding in the past, I don't know, what, 10 years, 15 years. I MIG welded a little bit when I was younger, but haven't touched it in a long, long time. So here I am back at it. The TIG welds look really good. I TIG welded everything that needed to be TIG welded for strength, and then some filler pieces got MIG welded, some overlay plates got MIG welded. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. There may be another beam set that gets made for this truck. I'm gonna run these and see how they work, and then if I don't like them, I'll just build new ones. That's the benefit of having that posit table. I can just cut whatever I want when I want and make what I want. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Well, what I want to show you today is this brass puck that I have in the Uniball slot. The reason I have that in there is when I was welding all these different tabs to brace this Uniball cup in place, I was adding a ton of heat with the TIG welder. What the brass puck does is it keeps everything completely round, so that way when you take this out, you put the Uniball cup or the Uniball back in, you're going to still have a round surface to slide that Uniball into. The downside to all this is when you start welding on it, metal does shrink, so I'm going to have to press this out. And right now I'm going to use my Harbor Freight 20-ton press. Hopefully that'll get it done. And I don't have like a rolling stand or whatever, so I'm going to use my jack, try to get creative here, and try to press this thing out. So that's what you're going to watch. Alright, so I had this welded on, like right there. It was mounted like that. Now, you probably can't tell on camera, but it's a little bit cockeyed like that. And it doesn't quite line up with it, so I didn't like the way that was looking. So what I'm gonna do is I actually cut it off, and I'm gonna fix this coping. You can almost see it on camera, but it's a little bit deeper here than it is there. So I'm gonna hit it with the flap disc right here, take a little bit off, and just try to get it evened out because I want this as straight as possible. I don't think having it cockeyed a little bit is gonna really hurt anything because it is a big uniball with a huge misalignment spacer. But again, it's visually dissatisfying to me. And if I'm gonna be spending the time building this, I might as well do it right. So I want this thing to be perfect. Overall, it's looking pretty good. I still have some welding on here to do. It got really hot last night, so I stopped. All right, so just a little adjustment with the flap wheel, and it is dead center. I like it, so I'm gonna go ahead and tack it up. Then I'm gonna put that brass puck in there and start welding her up. Should be done pretty soon. So I'm gonna put the puck in now, and I'm using this Copa slip high temperature anti-seize. That way the puck doesn't get stuck in there after I start welding on it. I used it on the last beam and it seemed to work pretty well, so go ahead and just put a little bit on it. You don't have to go crazy with it. Just kind of coat it on there. So you see that? So I just, kind of crazy. So it wasn't wanting to go in, and then I just started welding a little bit on it, threw a couple little beads on it, and all of a sudden it went right in. So what happens with metal is it doesn't take much heat, but the heat really affects the metal. It'll cause it to move, it'll cause it to expand, and you can see right there that as soon as I threw down 2 beads, it went right in there. So that's pretty interesting. I'm glad I caught that on camera. Beam is seeing some great progress. Welds are coming out pretty decent. Those are my MIG welds. I'm terrible at MIG welding. I'm much better at TIG welding. That's probably pretty backwards compared to most people. Got some good ones. This one, I don't know what happened, but I got a lot of porosity in there. So I'm going to actually dig this out with my carbide bit. Dig all that out, and then as far as I need to, and then I'll put another weld on it. Got some specs on here, some splatter, so I'm gonna probably hit it with the flop disc and get it all cleaned up and smooth. But yeah, I'm really liking these welds right here. Came out pretty good. Right here they look a little bumpy. The reason these look bumpy is because when I was putting this beam together, I actually tacked welded it with my MIG welder. And so I did one tack there, one tack there, one tack there, and then I believe there's another one. Maybe not, maybe it was just 3. Oh yeah, and then another one right down the end. So what I ended up doing is I ended up actually coming in with the carbide bit, and I ground them down as much as I could, but it still left an impression. So you can kind of see they're not the cleanest right there. Kind of see that little line where it kind of goes out. It's because it's a little heavy on the weld there. Same thing right there. But I try to blend it in as best possible. All in all, pretty happy with the way it's looking. So got the puck in like I talked about earlier in the video. Got the puck stuck in there, it's not coming out. And today I'm going to focus on making the rest of these pieces, not those, I'm not actually using but those. I am going to be using these pieces right here. So these are all pieces that I cut on that plasma table right there. You can see They were cut over there. And I am going to be using these pieces. So let's get this out of the way. Pretty cool. So this is going to go right here like that. And then I got to bend the end here to wrap around like that. Wrap around, and then that'll get welded. This one will go here, and then like that, and then it'll get wrapped around like that. And then these will go on the top, starting to go like that, to add some more strength on both sides. And once all that's done on the bottom, I should have a couple of these pieces left, but they'll go like that on the bottom to fill in those gaps. So should be nice and boxed. The reason I'm reboxing this in is essentially going to be wrapping those around there, creating like a strap. That way this thing cannot rip off, because this is going to be the lower uniball that's going to hold the upright / spindle, and the spindle is going to hold the wheel. So if I break this off, then there goes my wheel. So the welds penetrated really good solid welds, and I'm just going to add that strap. We should be good to go. Should be pretty strong. Got some clean welds there. Struggled a little bit there, but other than that, came pretty good. Some good ones. Alright, so this is quite a bit of a process. It's going to be a little bit of trial and error. Just have to try it and see how it works and see how it looks, and then be trying some more. So just a little bend. Boom, that's it. Just a couple bends. So a little spring back, and that's it. Close it up. Alright. So let's go take a look. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. So I bent it there, so I'm going to line that up like that. Bend it there. Now I'm going to hit. I might skip this one and just come straight out here, or maybe just go there, because once I start bending that, it's going to start bringing this one over. So I may just try a little bit there, and then eventually, like I said, I got to bring all this all over here. So we got a ways to go. Alright, so there it is, lined up, and it's pretty dang close. I mean, it's a little bit of a gap there, but I can live with it. So I'll weld it all in. Oop, there we go. Weld it all in, and then I still gotta box this in right here. Box that in. I gotta add those pieces. Making progress. So I must have forgot to cut this with all the other pieces, or I lost it. I'm not sure, but I was missing one of these, so it was as easy as putting it in the computer or on the plasma table and just cutting it out. So now I gotta clean up these little edges. Can't see it really. Clean up the little edges, but I want to say this little thing, it's called a magnetic chuck. If you haven't seen one, they're pretty badass. If you don't have one, get one, because they're nice. So check it out. So it comes off, you turn this little knob, you can actually hear the metal grinding now. Now I can't pull it off, it's stuck on there. So it makes it super easy, so when I'm trying to clean it up with that grinder, it doesn't slip out of my hands and cut me, so it's pretty safe. I like this thing. Well, she's just about done. Pretty happy with how it came out. Gonna clean all these little slag pieces, get them all smooth so when they get powder coated or painted, whatever I decide, they look smooth and clean. The reason this is like this is because there is gonna be, this is actually the front of the beam here. Kind of hard to see past my mess, but this is the back of the beam. So right here, I'm gonna have radius arms. Let me back out. Radius arms mounts. Radius arm mounts are gonna go off of this, off of the beam right here, and they're gonna be center mounted. So the beam's gonna be, let's just call it a 90 right here. The radius arm is gonna be at a 45, going to the center of the truck, pretty close to the transmission cross member. So that's kind of what we're going for. So the only thing I have to do here to finish that up is obviously I gotta make those brackets. That'll probably happen next week. But right now what I want to do is I want to get these fitted in there. And as you can see, they're too tight. They won't fit. It won't freaking fit. So it's not a problem. So we're gonna throw it in the little baby vise or baby mill. And we're gonna turn them down a little bit. So I'm gonna get some videos of me doing that. And yeah, stay tuned, we'll get it fixed.